Hello everybody. Now I'm later than I planned on my video from yesterday, and I am not even sure if anybody is going to be watching this, but I'm going to continue this anyway so people can watch later at their convenience. I did a tutorial yesterday, sorry, just aligning my camera, a fairly impromptu one about my beach because I have been out entertaining family, which has been amazing. But it's time to get in the studio. I promised that today I would do my resin coat on top of my ocean, which is what I am currently doing. So I did an undercoat yesterday with acrylic paints. I came back and did a second coat today, just because I didn't want to waste too much of your time. 2 nights in a row just seeing me painting the same thing. So you can see that I've got slightly more defined colours and beach. So that's enough just to map out my colours. So I am going to be using Mastercast 1:1. For this I decided to use the last of my Mastercast. That's where I'm currently using it. It is my preferred resin. The other one just looks a little bit too brown for me and I don't want to risk it. So I'm currently mixing out 360 mils of Mastercast. So I've just got my 100 of hardener. So I'm just going to, I'm not too sure if you can see me at this, but I'm just measuring it all out for you at the minute. So I hope you have had a great day. Just bear with me, just need to get that right. And I would love to know how you've been. Did you get any time to have a look at my live stream yesterday? I have had ideas how I can still do a few live streams, maybe just once a week or once a fortnight, but keep it to more simpler projects. This one is quite a lengthy process that normally you don't have to watch because of my editing, but I'm just going to set my timer for 3 minutes and mix, and in that time I can see who's here. Hello everybody. Tina, Precious Flower. Oh, I think I said that wrong. You can see I'm busy mixing away. How have you all been today? Or is it evening where you are? Not 100% sure. If you've got any questions about resin, or if you are a resin expert and you want to share your wisdom, make sure you do put it in the comments for other people to enjoy. Gosh, it feels very thick working with Mastercast again after working only for a little bit with the amazing Clearcast, but I feel very comfortable working with it again. It's like putting on one of your favourite dresses that you know is always going to work for you. So I have broke my colours down for my ocean, just to 4 colours this time, and then there will be my white. So I feel that because I am wanting more of a presence of the beach, the shellfish, I don't want too much of the ocean there. So that's the thought anyway, but let's see how we go with that. I will be using my ultramarine blue. That's definitely going at the back. I'll bring that forward to my ceruleum. And then my 2 favourite colours for the ocean, which is the green blue and the blue green Peebo. Very similar to each other, but you can definitely see that's more green and blue. And then I will be adding my Casting Craft Opaque. And the fun thing that we're going to do together is I'm going to attempt to add a starfish. And I'm always a bit cautious when I add things to anything, because I just don't want it to look tacky or not great perspective. I'm struggling for words today. I'm even forgetting my name. But just to see, is it going to add value or is it just going to look silly? So if you're going to be online, you can give me your advice along the way. Don't worry about missing the live stream. It wasn't planned. It was a very impromptu, quick way of getting to connect with you all because the visitors have only just gone, Amber and Harry, which is really sad. Oh, so it means beautiful. I'm so sorry. Is it peri? Oh gosh, I have got no idea. Can you spell it out for me phonetically so I can pronounce it? I just think it does mean beautiful to me when I look at that. I think like a precious flower, but yeah. Hello in Florida. So you guys are really at the other end of the pond then. to be. Has anybody kept their eye on the time? Because for the first time, my watch that I have on, my beautiful Apple Watch, I usually set the timer, but I forgot to put it on charge last night. I've had a very, very ditzy day for myself. It's starting to feel like it's mixed well. Just looking at the time here. So what's going through my head at the moment is, well, I've had a very bad day, but not bad as in horrible, as in ditzy, getting a bit of glass in my foot, knocking things over, getting paint all over myself. So there feels like there's little gremlins in my studio, but I am trying to take deep breaths and relax and enjoy the process, and I can feel as I'm mixing this, I'm definitely getting there. Pre-chosa. Have I said that like pre-chosa? Oh, I'm not too sure if I'm getting any nearer that. I'll ask Neil to come out and tell me how he would pronounce it. Alright, so again, because it's only my second live stream, I do apologise if I lose the comments. If you've got any questions or if you just want to interact, I sincerely apologise, but trying to do the art and stay connected with you is something that I am trying to work through. So Tina, you're happy for me to have a go with a starfish. I'm thinking about, in my head, around that area there, and I'm thinking of it half in the water and half out of the water, and maybe the white foam coming around it. Whether that will actually happen is another thing. So I think I will add my sand and then I'll work from the blue backwards. That works best for me. And then pull the foam backwards and forwards, or the spray, and then see how we go. But watch this face. Sometimes I attempt to do it and then I pull out at the last minute. So always very close. Yay! Alrighty, so this thing I normally do, I don't know if you can see my little cups here. These are the ones that I've talked about in my videos. They came to me from Miriam's, Nature's. I know other people use other things, but it's my way of leaving less of an imprint on the world and not using too much plastic. So it's silicone and I can reuse them. So for me, I map out where my colour schemes are going to be first. That just helps me gauge how much colours I'm going to be using in the area to make sure I have captured enough. And then I'll go back and I'll cover my sand in clear and then add the real sand, and then I'll leave a little bit left in my cup just so that if I feel that I need more colour I will. But it's just a process that seems to work for me. It also gives the bubbles a chance to pop out a little bit. So I've noticed the past two oceans that I have done, I have lost a lot on my beach. I think I've said that before. So I'm going to try the utmost to try and keep some of the beach. I'm going to retain some of that through here. And for me, I just like to spread it out. Sometimes I get my fingers in there, depends how quick I want to be. But now I'm back with my master cast. I know I've got a little bit of working time. And I don't know what your creative process, so I'd love to hear that. But as I'm doing this, I'm just thinking the whole time. I'm going with a feeling and I'm trying to work out how it's going to be. So you have an I have an idea in my mind and then I just work with it. But sometimes the resin tells me what it wants to do and then I just go with that. So I just wanted to make sure I'd got enough for the sand, because when I add the real sand, it does bulk it up a little bit down this way. I'm going to get my gloves in here already. I can feel it. Just making sure that is level. So I apologise if you're asking questions. Hello, Starmint. Hello, Lisa Jones from Noosa. Where is Noosa? Hi, Heather again. Welcome back. So I am now, I don't know, has anybody actually added real sand to their resin yet? I'm going to ask you that question. So I have seen a couple of people add it to PVA glue and add that, and that texture works really well for them. Non-eventful, it works really well, it looks really good, and they get the result that they're looking for. There's just something about me just trying to keep my resin fairly clear here. Sorry, I'm just making sure it goes to the end. So this is the first time I've worked with this particular artist panel or board, and I'm just seeing how it's working, because I'm noticing at the end here it's not quite going to the end or sticking. And I'm trying to work out if there's any oils that they've used in this, because I had problems with paint yesterday that I've not had before. It was almost as though there was something. Oh, it's so much better when you get your hands in there. It was almost as though there was something stopping it sticking to the area. And sometimes it can be like oils or stuff like that. Anyway, I got my gloves in, so I'm very happy about that. So this is actually real sand, and I think it just come from like a hobby shop. I think it's actually miniature models, so where they do train stations and things like that, but on Amazon they sell it. And all I am going to do is shake it and slowly work it backwards and forwards, and I try and move where it's going to be, because I'm trying to create sand on as though the wind's blowing it, and you get higher places and lower places. You get some that's clear and some that's not. So I just want to make sure I don't overdo it. I want to make sure there's enough resin left, but I don't know if you can see the technique I use, but I just sort of zigzag it backwards and forwards, and that creates to me a little bit of that orange sand that comes through, but definitely a little bit of that movement as though it's been blown in the wind. I'm just going to do this bit and then I'll have a look if there's any comments or questions at this stage. So once I start to see it raise to the height of the resin, I'll sort of leave it and just see if it does absorb in. And I've got some more clear that I can put over the top just in case. I tend not to add too much right at the end, because that's where the foam's going to be lapping. But I do want to make sure that's actually getting some nice texture. So you've added PVA to sand and added acrylic sand colours till you got it right. Did it work well for you? Okay, so I am going to leave, I think, sorry I keep standing back and having a look. I can see there's a little more here I can add. Alright, so I'm going to leave that like that, and from where I'm seeing it, the different shadows cast in a different angle of depth, shadows moving, and it sort of looks more organic than flat. I'm just going to leave that as it is. And what I have found with, what was I saying there? What I have found with working with acrylic and resin, sometimes you don't get the desired effect, or you have to work with it really quickly. In the experience that I've had, it can go marshmallowy, it can cause it to harden a lot quicker, or get hot. So for me, I add just the colour to the resin as I need it, so that then I know that there's no chance of that. So I'm going to start with my blue now and bring it back and come back to this area, and then we're going to see what we have. So I did the first layer of ocean and then covered the sand with resin. 2 days later I completed the second layer of waves, and the second coat of resin turned out beautifully. I added seashells too. Oh, beautiful. Love to see a photo of that one. I'll have to have a look. I'm working with second layers on the ocean. I've not done that yet. I'm too scared that I'll overwork it and lose the work that I'm doing. Alright, so I've just got to work out if I need a little bit more colour in here. So just to brew in my resin that's left. I just remember. I always put too much in what I'm going to do as the white. So I'll just keep that a little bit there. And me personally, I am going to work on my ultramarine blue. I don't know if you ever get nervous at this point when you've mixed your resin and you're applying it, thinking, have I calculated it right? Is there going to be enough here? I ain't sure. So I'm just going to add a little out of that because that's the white. So I'm just going in with my ultramarine blue, and this is, to me, it's the fun part. I just actually just slap it on work it through. My problem has been dust a lot of lately, so I really am going to try and slow down and make sure that I have got every bit of dust that I can physically see out of there. Just checking that that's the right colour for me. Straightforward, very happy with these. My tongue depressors, they are recycled. I've used those so many times now, so they were a really good buy as well. So just following where I've put a lot of the blues or colour schemes before. Pretty similar to probably how you all work. And I like to leave just a little bit left in the cup so that I can come back and just mix a little bit in the end, but we'll see how that goes. Move it out the way. I'm going to come through now with my blue, which is the Coeruleim blue. Don't need necessarily as much as that one there, but we'll see. Alright, let's see if I missed any. Yeah, it does look like it's a trick on the eye. It's just shading, and that's the one thing I've particularly learned is just the detail with the shading. So if you know that there's going to be dark here, your mind's going to automatically think that there's depth and it's coming that way. And when my foam will go over it, not all of that will be visible, but some will. But you should hopefully get the feeling that you're a little bit helicopter view and it's over there. Sorry, I'm taking it out of the camera shot. That would have been really boring for you. So I'm just going to add that now. So, and what I decided on this one is because I'm going to have it fairly close. Sorry, just having a look at my bubbles there, or foam, or if it's running off anywhere. My bit fingers and thumbs. Blue green, so my blue's always at the end, and there's a green blue. So these two are very similar colours, but at the same time give a total different feel. So I'm starting with my green blue first. Glad I held that away from my painting. I'm sorry that you couldn't see that because it's splattered everywhere. So that's that one. Just going to mix that one in, and then that will come back to my blue green. And then I add the white just at the end, and that's what gives it that milky look, or at least the milky look for me. Ooh, hey, it's like a party in here. We've got 14 people watching. That's 4 more than peak yesterday. Yes, people. Probably helps though if I let people know I'm going to do it instead of being spontaneous, you'd think, wouldn't you? Alright, so let me add this one. And then just drag a little bit backwards. It's something I tend to always do, is just drag a few of the other colours through. And I just love Peebo because you can actually see through to the other colours that you've worked. Let me make sure I've picked up the right one, which is the blue-green. Have you worked with Peebo before, anybody? Hi Julie, welcome. So this is about the amount that I add. I could go back if I feel like it's too transparent and add more, but I'm not too concerned because I have done the depth underneath. I might just, that looks quite, I just add a tiny little bit more to that one. Sorry, some of this is out of shot. I don't have the perfect setup for doing this live. Have you been, Julie? And then what I am going to do is bring through with my torch, crack some bubbles, and then get that all heated up. I do want to make sure that this is going to come down this way, so I just bring that through a little bit. And then I'm going to use my fingers to blend it in, because that's just me. And I'm just paying a lot more attention than I do to this edge where the water meets, because this is the one where I tend to overcommit, and I just want to make sure that I am going to get it to the edge and the foam, so that I can keep some of this dark area here. Oh, it does feel nice to have my hands back in Mastercast, I do have to say. I hope that you are able to see some of these colours coming through and my head is not blocking it off for you. The reason I like to do what I'm just doing now with my fingers is just to bleed some of the other colours through, but try and keep it true to the blocks that I had it in. It's quite light up here, so I'm hoping that I've got enough. Yeah, so dead happy that I've got enough. I just need to work it to the end still. Just make sure it's not, you can see that it keeps coming away a little bit here. It's got such a beautiful shimmer happening. Alright, so bring some of that through. Alright, torch. I'm just going to take my glove off for this part. I'm having troubles with that little area there. So you probably, the people that do resin will know the importance of this part. If you've never worked with resin before, where have you been? But I am just making sure that all these bubbles get popped, not putting it directly onto the resin, but keep moving it. And at the same time I'm looking for my big hairs, or now I know everybody does the waves differently, and I just do it the way I'm going to do it because it just works well for me. I have to come through with bubbles again in a bit. You can see quite a few still. Bursting away. Just in that top right corner where I've used the ultramarine blue, there's some beautiful bleed out happening there. So let me just now, what's going through my head is this area here with the foam. So I've got quite a bit of resin left, which I don't want to use for all of my, speak Sharon, all of my white, because I tend to overcommit. So I'm putting some into where I use the blue-green here, because more than likely I'm going to need some more of that. But I am now going to put on a fresh glove, and I am going to add this beautiful Casting Craft Opaque. That's all I use with this. So you've not tried that paint. I know, live stream, I just like to keep everybody on the toes, eh? I should. I've got to start doing my little little things on the thing. But I think it's because I was nervous at doing it, and I wanted to just see how it went for myself and just work out, do I have the setup, could it work? So I'm just now adding a little bit of this, and I am checking if I've applied enough. So that's slightly off camera, so I do apologise. So I'm just mixing it now, just making sure, and you can see that it's there. But before I do that, I'm just going to bring my clear resin and my blue together so there's no gaps, and I'm going to bend down just to make sure that is the case. Just checking my edges as well, although I've been a good girl and I've done 2 coats of it. So this is where I have the bit of fun and a little bit creative in that. Oh, and I've got a big hair on my glove. Where's that come from? Alright, so I just scoop it around where I want to be, and I've probably already positioned that a little bit too close to the waterline, but I drag it all through. When I think of the ocean walks that I've done, to me there is differences of where the waves come in, which you'll probably all agree to. But then you have sometimes where you start to see them come onto the shoreline, which is what I love, where you just give that illusion again of it's just lapping, or it's been in and it's disappeared. So I'm just trying to think about that in my head, how I want to see it happening, and I just slowly wiggle it in and out. It sort of works for me, and that's when you get those really fine, delicate lines coming. But when I walk down the ocean, I start to see that there's the odd part where the wave has come in, but there's no blue there. But you don't get too many of that. You normally only get 1 or 2 of that. So that's what I'm trying to keep at the moment. Oh, what a beautiful comment. I think they're not perfect, but it just shows you that we're all human, eh? And we're all just willing to give it a go. And that we all have bad days and good days. We all learn from each other. But that was a really sweet comment. Thank you. So what I'm thinking now is, how is it transferring down? Am I happy with that? Have I got the bits where I want? And I'm trying not to add too much at the back at the moment. But this is where I like my resin to go off a little bit, because for me that's when I start to find that it'll hold its place. So I'm going to get adventurous now, and I'm going to imagine that the waterline or shoreline has just crashed in over there. And maybe a little bit over here where it's a bit wet. And then I'm going to imagine that it's come sort of this way, and there's a little gap there so you can see some of that depth coming through. So I don't know if you can see now, but just by adding those few little lines there, you're getting that illusion that it's coming in and out, and you're getting that movement. You're also finding that some of the depth is covered up, and you're seeing it here, but to me that shows you that there's movement. So I'm just going to leave that as it is and work a little bit back now, and start to have a little bit of fun, but try and have a little bit of control, and think about the reality. And when I do some of these waves here, or a little bit further out, I tend to like to come in and put a little bit of a darker colour underneath, because if you imagine the ocean sweeping up, you get different colours in the waves, and that helps with that illusion or that mind trick that it's actually moving in front of you, which I'm sure most of you are aware of that, but it's just something that I take into consideration when I'm doing this. And as I said yesterday, for me it's a lot about keeping it simple but tricking your mind and catching that emotion. So I tend to feel that I'm going to need, you can see here as well, the white is now spilling out, which is what I like, and it's starting to create a milky effect, and for me that's actually a very good thing. So I'm just going to come down now and just add a few sort of little ones, and then I'm going to come through with my blowtorch, but I'm going to try and not do too much with the blowtorch, because that's where I can, in my opinion, overcommit. So I just want to keep going back and keep doing the movement, and again each wave I do will probably look different to the next, and that's what waves are like, if we're being honest. I can see that I'm having a little bit of drip off this side versus this side, so I'm just going to do a little bit of movement here to try and keep me from losing too much off this side here, so bear with me. I'm just going to make sure then I don't start to lose it off the other side. You might think you've levelled off your board, eh? But then we all have this to work on. Alright, so, and this is how I get the lollipop issues. Let's see how that goes. Right, before I add too much more, just going to get my blowtorch, and feel free to ask any questions or anything you want to know. I use a blowtorch a little bit for this area, mainly because that sort of gives you that feeling that it's a very delicate balance, but I do use it just a little bit because that's sometimes what fans it forward and gets you that feeling that it's moving back, and to cool down a little bit, and then I can do the fine lines. Apologies for the noise, normally I edit this out for you. Actually, I might do that over everything again, it's due for it. Just to try and bleed some of those colours in again. Oh, watch my cable. Do it for the sand as well. I noticed there's a few bits of grains of sand. So, so what I was trying to do is, not too sure if you can see here, but it starts to fan out or fluff up a little bit, and you start to see that you get a little bit of cells or breaking happening. And here it looks like it's all moved forward, it's pushed it back, and that all depends on which way you're holding your heat gun, and that's where you've got to just be observant of it. You get to see that it fans out quite nicely here, and you can see how my ocean yet again is creeping up. I let it cool down a little bit, and at this stage I'm just going to look for fluff and see if there's anything I need to remove, and I'm just going to double check up this way because it looks like there's quite a few bubbles still. At this light it's like a hopeless game, and some of the sand moves forward a little bit. Alright, sorry about my head, just looking for bits. Helps if my stick's not going a bit on its own. There still looks to be a ridiculous amount of air bubbles in here. So with the bits I'm trying to fish out, some of them won't come out, so I'm just trying to push them down. Okay, that's not looking too bad at this stage. So for me, I'm tending to make sure there's no heat left in there, which there shouldn't be too much because I didn't have it on long, and then I just start that process again, and I start to think, okay, that's moved forward, but that would mean that this is now crashing. That's where the foam would be, because that's where it's hitting the shoreline. So that's where I'm thinking at that stage. And you can see it's getting a lot of depth just here. I don't know if from your angle you're seeing where I am. Maybe if you don't feel too seasick towards the end, I'll bring it down so you get to see where it is that I'm doing. And I'll obviously take photos and show you sort of the next day. Right, just want a few more brighter lines there. Okay, sorry, hope you're just enjoying seeing this process. I don't know if it's giving you any ideas or whether it's all stuff you've seen in the video anyway, but at the minute I'm just keep standing back and looking at it myself and check if I'm happy with the way it is and what I'm doing, and does it really represent where I want it to be. still dripping off that side. Why is that? Nothing's coming off the other side. Always tending to the edges. Ooh, I'm glad you like the explanation of the waves. Okay. So in this one, I've got to remember that this one can stay a little bit bigger than what I thought. So now I am trying to work out where in this piece, if I was going to stick a starfish, would I want it. So originally I was going to have it there, but I don't want to spoil how that wave looks like it's rising up and lapping. Potentially I could put it there. The middle might be a little bit obvious. To the edge just looks like it's a bow on the end. So help me out. Where would you hello, where would you see it? Do you think it looks good there? Part just on the ocean line there? There? Definitely not there, and I don't want it on the sand. To me it feels like it should go here. What is people's thoughts on that? Somebody help me out. I think there. To the left, but not at the end. We're talking here. I think there, and then maybe have the water lapping around it. Alright, it's going in. I've got to see if I can get it. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit more resin there and put it around it, if it's enough to help it stick in, because it's curved, I've just noticed. Oh, no! No, not there! There. Let me have a little look. Let me see the other side. Alright. Kind of definitely needs to be. I'm going to put it there. If I was walking along the beach now and I saw that at the edge, I'd stop and pick that up. Alright, so I want to try and have it so there's a little bit of foam coming around it. Let's see if I can pull that one off. Just hoping that it is going to stick properly, because it's just right. Ocean has lapped out here and gone back in. That bit there I'm not happy with, so I'm just going to go back and correct that. Oh, it's really bugging me, that. And if I should pile some sand around it. Alright, before I get too carried away with that, I am going to now push some waves further back. Just drag it out a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more of the crashing motion just here. And definitely would be some here with how that is pulling back. Hello, Neil. Okay. Sorry, I keep going out of screen because that's when I'm looking back. That's true, I could do that. I might try that. Let's have a little look. It does look a little bit strange just sat there, doesn't it? A little bit. Let me have a go. I've had a very good suggestion to get a straw and see if I can blow the waves over it. So let me have a little look. If I've got one handy, I might actually put the blow torch over it, but let's see. Oh dear, I think I've just touched the end with the resin. Kind of didn't do what I was hoping it was going to do. Alright. Pa! And I have a little bit of resin in my mouth. So this is where I have to be careful when I'm putting so much foam at the end that it's not going to just all become a mass of white. Spoil that lapping feeling. But hey, at least I've been brave to try the Starfish. What do you reckon? Actually quite quite liking the colours. Add some clear to the white you have done already. I will add some clear to the white I've done already. Let's see if that does it. Neil, you're good at phonetics and spelling and reading. You are, aren't you? Oh, look at that. That might actually just work. I'm going to see where it does. I've added the blob, and that might actually just work because it's put resin underneath it, and you can see it in the water, and it's dispelling the white. So you might have just cracked that for me. Let's see how we go. Can you have a go at pronouncing this beautiful name for me correctly? I can't pronounce it. It's oh, you're struggling, aren't you?
I am. The flower one?
Yes.
Preciosa.
Oh, did you get that right? Preciosa. Alright, I just need to add a little bit of clear down here at the end. And what I'm noticing is it's definitely starting to go tacky now. So I've got a little bit of working window left, not too much. So I'm just going to make sure I do have everything covered. But I actually quite like the Starfish. Now there is some clear there. I might just add a little bit more. Oh, exactly. Was that
Precious flower.
was that exactly to how we pronounce your name, or was that precisely to where the starfish is in the clear helped? Just add a little bit more. I actually really like that idea. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. And it does look like it's under the water, but fairly clear. So as long as it doesn't push the rest of it back too much, I'm very, very happy with that. Thank you. The clear on this isn't necessarily creating too much of the lacing effects that's been created with the Casting Craft Opaque and then a little bit of heat, but the clear has now secured my starfish and it's pushing the ocean, so it makes it look like it's peeping. But now I probably can add my clear, not my clear, my white. So I'm just mindful of that time, so I'm just going to add a very few little bits of movement here and wave, and maybe just get my blowtorch out. One more time, just go over it again and just add a little bit more here. Hi Rusty. Be safe on the road. I am just, I didn't envisage doing my resin part today, but it's the resin we are doing. And I am just constantly just working on my waves. I think that's the part that is the thing that makes it pop, really, isn't it? Or gives it that feeling. So I'm going to heat gun one more time just to make sure there's no more bubbles. Should I say blowtorch? Oh my gosh, yeah, blowtorch. Sharon, come on, you can do it. Just to make sure any bubbles that are there are gone. Then I will heat gun it again where the waves are at the front, just to check that I'm happy with that. And then I will go over it one last time if I feel it needs it, without overworking it. So the blowtorch to remove the bubbles, as you know. Heat gun is just going to be really to these waves here. It still looks like it's blowing bubbles when I do it. Not too sure what's happening today, people. It's got a ridiculous amount of bubbles. Thank you. I will definitely tell Neil his children are charming, and they really are charming. They are very noisy, so it's very quiet, and the poor fella is feeling very lost at the minute. It takes him a couple of weeks to feel almost normal and into a routine when they go back. But he's on the countdown until he sees him again, which is fantastic. Alright, so just trying to move these waves a little bit here. So in my last one I did, I worked the back ones too much, so I'm trying to just have that little bit of movement, little bit of spray. Oh, I missed some here, I just want to do. I'm very happy with that. And I feel like I just want, so I don't know if you can see there, but that movement. Oh, thank you. Can you have it, please? So on here now, I'm very happy with this back half, happy with what's happening here. But this effect here that I really like, I'm just going to try and have it on these couple of waves here, but try not to ruin that. And then I've just got to go through it again with that fine lines again, and then this one will be done and it'll need to go to bed. So sorry for the noise, but it just needs to go on a bit more. Oh, see what's happened there? Probably just worked it a little bit too hard and it's blew this part, so I've lost the defineness, but I'm not too stressed. Just going to let it cool down, and then I am going to just add a little bit more here, and then that's it. So it's always a fine line. So remember, the people that watched this yesterday, this is one of two pieces. This one has been designed to go side by side, but when I was doing the resin part, I decided not to do two pieces this big at the same time. So this is my undercoat from yesterday for the second piece. So I'll go and give that a second coat. And the idea is, you might not be able to see it, that these will eventually go side by side so they can be sold as a pair. or they can be sold individually, but I just really wanted to have a go at doing a bigger beach theme. And somebody at work is making me some miniature flip-flops, so I'm going to try and incorporate a few miniature flip-flops and things like that. So yeah, let me just inspect and have a look, and while it's calming down, I'm just going to get some of these dust particles out again, because if I don't get them out now, I'm really going to struggle to get them out. Now, somebody's given me a hot tip, and you tell me if you've worked with resin longer than me if this is possible, which is let your resin cure, and in about 4 to 5 hours, when it's just firm to the touch but not to press, you can give it a wipe over with rubbing alcohol. Obviously it would be very lightly and gently, and that, she said on her YouTube clip, should be enough to remove any dust particles that have settled on to your resin. Now, I don't know if that is true or not. I've not worked with resin long enough to have that experience, but if you have, I would love any advice you've got, because as clear as I try and keep my environment, it's an ongoing challenge to make sure there is no fluff in there. Sorry, this part may be a little bit non-eventful for you, just see me pulling out bits in my resin, but if you've never worked with resin before, you will understand eventually the importance of doing this, because it just looks horrendous when you put your art, sorry, I'm kneeling down now because my back's a bit sore and I can see different, but when you hang your art on the wall from certain angles, it will look absolutely amazing, but if the light's coming in the wrong angle or directly on it, the fluff that is in there just stands out like a sore thumb. So at the minute I'm pressing quite a bit down, as you can see, but it's just enough time to work it. I'm trying to work out if some of this is sand that has been blown down. Like a paint booth. No, I do cover it up, don't get me wrong. I've got a special made unit that I put in that has a cover, and it is going to go over it, and this is just the time while I've been working on it, there's just a little bit of fluff settle, so I'm just checking all that. And I'm mindful that you don't want to sit and watch me do this for too long, but at the same time I've got to make sure any big pieces are out. And I don't know if it's because I'm working in the dark, I can't see it. So that is cooled down enough for me to add my final bit of white at the front, but you probably can see now it's starting to go a little bit more tacky and treacly, just the way I like it. But if I go down now and just bring this, it should bring back the fine line of those waves crashing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see from that angle, tell me if you can, there is still some depth of that underlay bit that I added. It's still helping make the waves look like it's just going over and pulling back, so there's a lot of movement there from where I'm seeing anyway, but I'm not too sure if your camera angle is showing you that, so I'd be interested to know. And I will make sure when it's dried in the next 24, 48 hours, I will share with you what this looks like, and ultimately if I'm happy that I added the starfish. Bob Ross. I am Bob dross of resin, just hopefully slightly more feminine. So what I plan on doing in one of my next videos, actually I'll ask you the question, because I've got the second piece to this, do you feel it would be of value seeing me complete the second piece, or would you just like to see them completed together? Because I do have another piece that I am going to be working on, which is 2 pictures again together, but it's going to be more or less a resin dirty pot. I've just realised there's something I've not done that I normally really like to do, which is add that little bit of deeper colour under my wave, just to make them look like that they are got colour and movement in there. So I might see if it's too late to do that, or if I can get away with it. Carried away with my foam, you see. One can never have enough foam. Definitely do love working with it when it is so getting to that tacky stage, because you can really sculpt and hold where it is you're trying to achieve. Alright, leave the waves, Sharon, leave the waves alone. And I'm just going to see if I do add a tiny little bit of darkness. Is that going to give you more of a perception of it moving? Sweet Miniature sites, they have great stuff for resin pieces. I'll check that out. I might decide that I quite like that. So this is what I was talking about before, that if I see some white at the back, I'll go in and add a little bit of darkness underneath the white, because that should give you the feeling of movement. But I'm just going to see if I've left it too late to do that, and just keep your eye on it and see if you notice a difference when you've added it. Even though it's just a very thin line that goes in under the white, and it really makes it look like it's raising up now. That, or I'm tripping out on a few little paint fumes. Probably won't need to do it too far this way with the blue, and I'll add the darker green. It is amazing how one line can change the whole dynamic. It's just the little detail stuff that, and I've said this in many of my videos, and I apologise if I repeat, but it's something I really believe in, that the small detail stuff that you do makes the difference between an okay average painting or a great painting. So never ever skip on the detail, would be my advice. Unless you forget, like I've done just now, and you're trying to fix it up. Alright, I'm looking for my deep green or blue now. I've realised why I love working on my... That's too hard to work. And so you see that? I can just leave it in there now, let it set, pull it all out, no issues. I was going to say, I know why I love working on my box that my Neil made for me, is because it's at waist height, so I don't have to bend over like this. And when I am bending over like this, it's amazing the strain it puts on your back a little bit just from, oh, okay, I can't get away with that one, bending over and checking this resin. So has anybody got any questions for me? Box then cover, yeah. Alright, so I think I've kept you all. I think hopefully it's added some value to you. Hopefully you will have learnt a little bit along the way. The only thing I'm going to do is just keep my eye on bubbles, just do a last check for bits, just make sure it is levelled off and stop dripping, which it looks like it has now. Had a little bit of a run off to the left, but nothing major. And maybe just add a few more lines here, but I'm just going to leave it for now and see how it goes. But what I may do is just bring you, see if I can get you in closer. Having said that, I think that's going to be a little bit hard for me to do that without the wires going everywhere. So just apologies if you see my fingers going over the screen. Just unpopping my camera, and I just don't want it falling in my artwork. So I'm going to try and look at this upside down, but I'm not too sure if you can see the depth that you are getting from the wave and from where that starfish is, and if you can see the texture from the sand. And then as I move you back, sorry, you can see the movements of that waves and that foam as it fades through. So sorry, without scaring you all too much, thank you for watching. Have the most wonderful evening. Thank you for watching. If you've got any tips or any requests of anything you would like to see me do, ask away. But we are going to say good night for now. So thank you so much for all your help and your support. If you do like my art or video, thumbs up, subscribe, share, help me get my art out there. And also, if you want to know any of the materials I use, look at the links below. If you do buy anything from Amazon after you've looked at my link, it doesn't cost you any more money, but a little bit of that money goes towards helping me keep my channel going. So have the most amazing evening, and I've got to work out how to finish this, but bye bye people. Thank you.